These newspaper article readings are not for the faint-hearted or the squeamish. If you're at all sensitive, I might suggest these aren't for you. If in doubt, check the description below. It'll tell you which topics are covered in this particular episode. There's both human and animal suicides, and you heard that right. There's also horrific descriptions of injuries, as well as the deaths of youngsters. So don't do it to yourself if you're prone to nightmares, is all I'll say right now. Not all the articles are horrible. Some of them are uplifting, some of them show incredible bravery and heroism. There are near misses. So these were picked as showing life prior to health and safety, as well as for the crazy and curious details some contain, with other miscellaneous happenings that kind of struck me enough to post the articles to Twitter, despite not having too much relevance to Scotland necessarily. These are worldwide topics, and they didn't have any real connection to the projects that I was working on and researching at the time. I just happened to have come across them by the way, kind of thing. So we'll get into them, shall we? What we're going to do here is we're going to do a lucky dip of newspaper articles to really mix them up a wee bit, because while I'm doing the researches, I'm obviously coming up with the same kind of terms and things. So we'll mix them up even further. So to that end, I have all of the newspaper titles and dates of the articles. Now we'll see what the hat has for us today. This one. The Perthshire Advertiser for the 26th of February 1906. See what we have here. Okay, so not a super positive start to this episode. We have farmer's tragic find. A Rothsay farmer made a sensational discovery on Saturday. While out rabbit shooting, he was shocked to discover the dead body of his wife lying at the foot of the cliffs at Crossbeg Quarry, near Rothsay. The corpse was cold and stiff, having apparently been dead for a considerable time. The affair has a mysterious aspect. Mrs. Curry left her home on Thursday, saying she was going to visit friends. Her husband was under the impression that she was still in Glasgow, and his tragic discovery came as a greater surprise on that account. How the deceased, who is 45 years of age and the mother of 9 children, came by her death is not known. One theory is that she may have fallen over the cliff. The other is that she had gone to visit a well in the vicinity in which her child was drowned some years ago, and may have, in her melancholy wanderings, gone over the cliff during the darkness. The sad affair has naturally created widespread sorrow in the district, where the family is well known and greatly respected. And that's from the Perthshire Advertiser for the 26th of February 1906. I think that was probably an accident. Maybe it was her habit to go to the well to say goodbye to the spirit of her child, the idea of her child before going anywhere. And on this occasion, she's maybe just fallen. I can't believe that it was suicide. She's the mother of 9 children. She's not going to lose out on watching them grow up for the sake of one she lost some years back. So I feel like this was an unfortunate accident, and it's a bit of a shame that it was her husband that had to find her in that condition. So, shall we hope for something a little more positive? We always want positives on this wee series, but I'm afraid positives don't make for some of the better stories. So next we have the Mulgai in Bearsden Herald for the 9th of August 1907. We'll see what the Mulgai and Bearsden papers have for us. Okay, this article is entitled Making Our Flesh Creep. There is no doubt that with modern ideas and training, women are becoming stronger and more masculine in their ways. And a professor of the University of Chicago has been telling a class of horror-stricken girls that, as a consequence, women will, in course of time, come to wear beards like men. Happily, he added, after making their flesh creep with such a startling announcement, it will not be in our time, or that of the next generation, but that eventually it will be the natural result of women taking to bicycling, cricket, swimming, hockey, paper chasing, fencing, rowing, and athletics generally. One would like to ask that professor why a lioness does not grow a mane like a lion, but whether or not there is any justification for his theory, he is a wise prophet, seeing that many generations are to pass away before the world will know whether he has spoken with wisdom or folly. And that's from the Mulgai and Bearsden Herald for the 9th of August, 1907. There's not really much you can say about that other than he has some very strange ideas. I don't know that there's anything that women could do to genetically ensure that women in the future grow beards like men. Yeah. It's kind of just nonsense, isn't it? See what we have next? We have the Glasgow Chronicle for the 20th of September 1848. Okay, so we have serious assaults. On Sunday morning, shortly after 12 o'clock, a woman named Janet Ferguson, or Cunningham, was brought to the police office bleeding profusely from a wound in the head, which had been inflicted by a blow of a jug delivered by another woman named Ross or Thompson. The affair had arisen from a drunken squabble. The surgeon had to extract a piece of a broken pitcher from the wound. The accused has been taken into custody. About an hour afterwards, a labourer from the Bridgegate, or Brigate in Glasgow, was brought to the office with a frightful gash on his forehead, also inflicted by a woman with the bottle of a heavy jug. This man, who is in a dangerous state, was attended by the doctor. This pitcher mode of assault is getting alarmingly common. Only 3 weeks have elapsed since a man had his eye scooped out with the fragments of a piece of delft ware in a tavern. And that's from the Glasgow Chronicle from the 20th of September, 1848. I feel like they were a little too flippant about the guy getting his eye scooped out. That's just craziness. But yes, also jug assaults appear to have been a thing. That's strange. So that's not a particularly positive article. It seems like everyone survived though. So we'll take that as a win, I guess. It's just strange that everyone had taken to using jugs as weaponry. I have another one. So we have the Scotsman for the 28th of November 1904. Okay, another short one. We have another tobogganing accident at Helensburgh. On Saturday forenoon, Alexander Dolan, 14 years old, was thrown from a toboggan in Cahoon Street, Helensburgh, and falling on the curbstone, he was severely cut on the head, his scalp being almost torn off. The lad was conveyed to the local Victoria Hospital for treatment. That's from the Scotsman for the 28th of November 1904. I've said before in previous episodes that I think people just fell harder back in the day. We had a little girl took a tumble and fell and hit her head in the curb and broke her neck somehow. The amount of bicycling deaths I came across while researching the railways was just crazy. I'm going to have to do something just on bicycle accidents, because they were just crazy accidents. Like, I've been considering doing that for a while, actually. Maybe after we're finished with trains. But his scalp was being torn off from hitting the curbstone. Oh my god. I used to really like sledging in Helensburgh, but it wasn't down the streets. Coon Street's a good one. It takes you right down into a square, which I think is mainly pedestrianised these days. I think it's only been like that for a few years now. So I can see in my head like the kind of area that he was going down. It wasn't like so steep that he should have been going like a crazy speed or anything. We used to just make use of the golf club for sledging when it was snowy. But yeah, it's strange things have happened to that kid, I guess. And apparently it was another tobogganing accident, so there seems to have been a spate of them in Helensburgh at this point. I think since these have been quite short, we'll go for another. Should we chance another one? See what we have. So the Barhead News for the 4th of March 1904 again. So we're staying in 1904 for this one. Okay, well, we have a Zaracat back, which is positive, but it's not a positive story we're ending on here. We have a fatal accident. A painful accident occurred last Friday evening on the New Caledonian Railway. As the last train from Ardrossan was running between Upblommer and Neilston stations, a passenger named James McAnally, about 22 years of age and residing at Brigalee, Neilston, was in a compartment with a Glasgow gentleman. He suddenly startled his travelling companion with the statement that he was going out of the train, and got up and opened the door for that purpose. The gentleman seized hold of him and a struggle ensued. McAnally, being a powerful man, soon freed himself, and as the door still remained open, he stepped out as the train was passing near Gispayton Farm and was instantaneously killed. From the Barhead News from the 4th of March, 1904. I mean, where there's a will, they say. I don't know if maybe he was suffering from some kind of mental illness, some kind of delusion, where he'd forgotten he was on a moving train. I would think that even had he not remembered that you can't just exit the compartment while it's moving, like for whatever reason he's forgotten this. I mean, I'm assuming he's forgotten this. You would think that the struggle with the other passenger would maybe knock some sense into him, or give him the second that's needed to remember, oh yeah, this is a stupid idea, like leaving a train while it's moving. I don't know. It's really weird. Well done to the passenger for attempting to stop him, I guess. That guy deserves a certificate or something, especially if the guy was a powerful man. You don't really want to stand in the way of people that can get the better of you, but there we go. So that ends us for this episode, I guess. And it's goodbye from me and from a Zaracat. Take care. Me.